How's it going, guys? I'm Ross from Seconds Out Fight Store. Today we're talking all things hand wraps. You might have just started boxing or Thai boxing and you're going to the gym and you're seeing these people wrapping their hands with these weird bandages or slipping on a glove before they put their glove on and think, what the heck is that? Do I need this? Should I be buying it? We're going to tell you everything you need to know in this video today, including a size guide and the various types that are available. So without further ado, let's get right into it. The first question you might be wondering is, do I actually need these hand wraps? And the answer pretty much every single time, in my opinion, is yes. The hand wraps are an excellent and cheap addition to your training equipment to get you started. They get worn by beginners to pros to protect your hands, especially in the wrist and the knuckle area, but it also helps bulk out the glove, so when you go to put the glove on, it gives you a more snug and compact fit. When people come into the shop for the first time, it's one of the first things that I recommend to them. Like I said, it's a very cheap and inexpensive way to get your training kit started, and there's so many great benefits from a protection point of view. So now let's look at the different types of hand wraps that are available, because it does get a wee bit confusing. There's the normal hand wraps and there's gel hand wraps. What's the difference? The first ones we're going to look at are the gel hand wraps. Especially as a beginner, these are an excellent option. You can see just there, this is like a glove sort of fit. So these don't replace the gloves, these go under the gloves. So you put these on first and then put your boxing glove on. And they've got gel padding in the knuckles just here. You can see that bit's a bit sort of spongy there. There's some padding in there to protect your knuckles. And then there's some bandage here to go around your wrist to give you a bit of extra protection. So these Pro Box ones here we sell for $9.99 on our website, and they're excellent quality, very durable and hard wearing. The other ones that I recommend, and my favourite ones, are the ringside ones just here. These are $17.99, so they're a bit more expensive, but in my opinion, they're much better quality. We're going to show you how quick and easy it is to get these on, especially as a beginner. So like I said, you might be a wee bit nervous about wrapping your hands with the traditional bandages, but you can see just here these gel hand wraps, literally done in under 10 seconds. So you just slip them on like a glove, wrap the wrist, and that's you good to go. You can put your boxing glove on and start training. So they are a wee bit more expensive than normal hand wraps, but they're a great option as a beginner if you're not too sure or too comfortable. You're maybe a wee bit nervous about wrapping your hands for the first time in the gym. These are a great way just to get you started and give you plenty of protection as well. Now, as a size guide, these usually come in two sizes. You usually get them in a small to medium size or a large to extra large. These ones here are a large to extra large. I don't have particularly big hands, but a general rule of thumb is the small to mediums are great for women and kids, or if you're a guy with much smaller hands. If you're a guy with normal sized hands or larger hands, then definitely the large to extra large size fits best. I can fit my hands in the small to medium size, but it's just a wee bit tight, kind of cuts off the circulation a wee bit, so I much prefer the large to extra large. That gives me a much more comfortable fit. And as you can see just here, it's not too loose or anything like that. I've still got a wee bit of room to let my hand breathe when it's in the glove and I start sweating a wee bit. So that was the gel hand wraps. Now we're going to look at the traditional hand wraps, the bandages that you might have seen people wrapping in the gym. And these look like the most confusing and difficult and awkward thing in the world to do, especially when you unroll them and you see 5 meters of bandage. Think, how the heck do I get this round my hands? But it is a lot easier than you think. And the great thing about normal hand wraps is you're wrapping them specifically for your hands instead of like a one size fits all. So the previous ones we looked at, the gel hand wraps, are an excellent beginner's option, quick and easy to get on and off. The normal hand wraps are the best in my opinion because you're wrapping them specifically for your hands. So if you want to put more wrap into the wrist or the knuckles, you can do that. You can play about with it. There is a million different ways of wrapping your hands. If you want a good beginner's way to wrap your hands, I've done it. It was actually our first ever YouTube video that I'd done. You can check that out, I think somewhere up there, one section up here, you can click on that video, and that's a beginner's guide to wrapping your hands. And these wraps here have a bit of velcro at one end just there and a loop on the other end that fits over your thumb, and then you start wrapping your hands and you finish at this section here. So these are the ones that people would wear if they're maybe a bit more experienced, if you've been training more, or maybe you're starting from scratch and you just want to learn how to do this from the start. You're not going to look out of place if you walk into a gym and you start doing your first class and you start wrapping your hands. People of all levels use these type of hand wraps, so don't be intimidated if you go to the gym and you start wrapping your hands. It's not like a professional thing to do. Everybody wears the style of wraps as well. The one thing I always recommend is if you are going to be doing these wraps and you've never really done it before, is before you go to the gym for the first time, maybe wrap your hands in the house. That way if you're watching a YouTube video or something like that, you can wrap them before you get to the gym, and if you get stuck in anything, you can refer back and take your time. Instead of being in the gym, you start wrapping your hands, you think you remember, then you forget, then the class starts, and then you panic, and then you just put them to the side, and then you've not got any protection on your hands at all apart from the gloves. So I definitely recommend wrapping your hands in the house before you go the first few times, just to make sure you get used to it. Now with the standard hand wraps, there's two different styles. styles. You can see just here, don't know if you'll be able to see in the video, these ones here are the stretch material ones, so they've got a bit of give in them just here, and these are my favourite kind. There is the other kind as well, the more traditional kind, which are made from cotton, and we'll show you these just here, but there is no flexibility in these at all. The problem with these ones, in my opinion, is while the material is a bit thicker usually, you either have to wrap them, because there's no give in them, you either have to wrap them so tight that it cuts off the circulation, or you don't wrap them tight enough and then the wrap just sort of falls apart in your hand. So the cotton ones are good quality, but we don't even stock these in the shop. They're like never as good quality in my opinion for day-to-day usage and for wrapping your hands. The stretch material ones are the ones that we sell most of to guys at any level, whether it's people just starting out for the first time or professionals. The stretch materials with the bit of give in them are always the ones that you want to look for, in my opinion. We also want to give you now a couple of honourable mentions for hand wraps, some other options that you might see in the market that you might want to consider. The first one is the Fortress hand wraps just here. I personally use these myself and they're absolutely brilliant. They're nowhere near essential for you if you're just starting out. This is really for something, either if you are starting out and you've got really bad hands, or maybe your hands are really important for your day-to-day work, maybe, I don't know, an artist, or I don't know, you're in an office typing all the time, anything like that where you really need to use your hand, a builder, something like that where you really need maximum protection for your hands. First of all, I'd be saying to invest in a really good pair of gloves, but also that's when these Fortress wraps would be a good shout. They're like a pro style hand wrap that you just slip on, so this gives you like a pro style wrap. It's not essential if you're just starting out. They range from about £65 to £75, so they are a bit more expensive than normal wrap. Actually, they're a lot more expensive than normal wraps. So if you're just starting out, these are definitely not essential. You don't need to worry about this sort of thing and spending that kind of money. The standard wraps or the gel hand wraps will do the job just fine. The other thing you might see in the market, we don't actually have in stock just now, but I'm going to put a picture up, is the knuckle pads. Winning are the most popular brand for them. They're about £30–35, and it's like a knuckle pad, a gel knuckle pad that sits over your hand wrap that you wrap yourself, and then you slip this knuckle pad on. Again, this is something more for a higher level person, somebody that's maybe a professional, or somebody, like I said before with the Fortress wraps, if your hands and keeping them safe is really important, then that's when that sort of thing might come into play. But again, the knuckle guards I wouldn't bother about, especially if you're just starting out. Stick to the normal wraps and the gel ones. They will do the job just fine, and it'll keep the cost down for you as well. So we're going to give you a quick size guide just now. We touched on the sizing earlier for these gel hand wraps. A small to medium is best for women and kids, or guys with smaller hands. If you've got average sized hands like myself, then the large to extra large fits me best personally, so that's what I'd recommend. And also if you've got bigger hands as well, then that's going to be the best shout, definitely. So small to medium for women and kids, and guys with small hands. For average size hands and above, large to extra large is going to be your best bet. For the normal hand wraps, this is where it starts to get a wee bit tricky, because there is various different lengths from 2.5, actually you can get like 1.5 meters, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, it gets mega confusing. The basic ones that you'll mostly see in the market are 2.5 meters, 4.5 meters, or 5 meters. So if you're a child or female, maybe you've got smaller hands, then the 2.5 meter ones are going to be the best bet. That'll give you all the protection you need, unless you really want a lot more length in the wrap and a lot more protection. But generally for women and kids, 2.5 meters is perfect. For guys' hands, if you just want a quick layer to go around your hands, maybe you're not too worried about getting loads of protection, you just want to start using hand wraps, 2.5 meters will still do the job fine, but generally I recommend 4.5 meters or 5 meters for guys' hands. That'll give you a lot more wrap around the wrist and the knuckles and a lot more protection overall. For one last recap there, just so you don't have to skip back, for women and kids in the gel hand wraps, small to medium, for guys, large to extra large. And for the normal hand wraps, women and kids, 2.5 meters, for guys' hands, 4.5 or 5 meters. Hope that makes sense and you're able to keep up. It can get a wee bit confusing when there's so many different lengths and sizes of wraps, so hopefully we've made that nice and simple and not overcomplicated it for you. So I hope this video has been of some use and it's given you a bit of an introduction into the different types of hand wraps that there are, and you're a wee bit more comfortable in which ones you're going to go for now. You can check out all these wraps and loads more on our website at seconds-out.co.uk. The ones that we showed you in the video there, the MTG ones, are £3 for the 2.5 meters and £5 for the 5 meters. There's various other brands, Adidas, Ringside, Sting, plenty more to check out as well, so you can choose your favourite brand. And the gel hand wraps are £9.99 for the Pro Box ones that we showed you just there, and £17.99 for the Ringside ones just there. Again, they all come in various different colours as well. There's a few other different brands and stuff as well, so best bet is to go onto our website, have a wee look around and see what you think from there. Please don't forget to also tap the subscribe button if you're enjoying our videos. We genuinely always appreciate your support, and you can check us out on social media at Seconds Out Out _ on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We're also on Facebook at Seconds Out _. So give us a wee follow or a like on our page there for all our social media content. Again, thank you so much for the support. Much appreciated, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.